Hello, everybody. How are you? I hope you guys are all doing well. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Sydney. I am a lot of things, but basically a spiritual life coach who is very passionate about all things personal growth and spirituality, and intuition, and really living life in alignment with your soul's purpose and with who you are at a soul level. If you see smoke coming up, it's because I lit some Palo Santo to just cleanse the energy for this video and this episode. So I guess if you're watching the podcast, or if you're listening to the podcast, you're not going to see the smoke, but that's what I'm doing. If you are new here and you are interested in any of those topics, but again, specifically intuition, intuitive business, and again, how to live in alignment with really your soul's truest expression of itself, please be sure to subscribe. And yeah, sorry if you hear my dogs barking in the background. It's also very windy here today when I'm recording, so I hope that it's not too distracting. So anywho, I don't know what they could possibly be barking about. Oh, someone's walking, even though it's so windy. Anywho, I am excited about today's topic and today's video and episode because basically I shared this previously, but I am really getting myself back into a place where both in my life and in my business, I'm moving from a very intuitively guided way, or in a very intuitively guided way. So that basically looks like waking up and sitting in meditation and channeling through the messages that are meant to come through my business and through my content and through this channel and through this podcast. And today when I was meditating on it, I knew I wanted to record today, but I was like, I didn't have a topic planned. Basically, the message that was coming through was to pull an oracle card and to share it and to speak on basically anything that wants to channel through from these cards and from the energy of these cards. So I have two different cards for you today. I'm going to be pulling from, or I already pulled from when I was in that really beautiful energy this morning, the Starseed Oracle deck. So this is the one that I use for basically everything. I have my two cards here on my desk. I will share those with you in a moment. But before we get into this, we're going to do some breath work in a moment. And I also just wanted to share, before I forget to tell you, I am hosting a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful virtual retreat on January 8th, all about resting and resetting. We're going to be doing yoga. We're going to be meditating. We're really going to be tapping into that energy of rest and relaxation and doing the inner work. And I'm just so excited for those of you guys that have already joined me. This was a very intuitively guided, divinely channeled idea. And it's been flowing so well. So if you're feeling called to come and join us, to come take this time out for yourself, I will leave the link below in the show notes and in the description. Feel free to send it to a friend or maybe gift it to somebody for the holidays. It's going to be a really beautiful time. So that was that's one of them. The other thing that I wanted to share, if you guys are looking for, a little bit more of a community feel, I also have my membership community. And then if you're looking for one-on-one support, I do have a couple spaces currently open for my one-on-one coaching. So I just wanted to throw that out there, that if you enjoy these topics, if you've been tuning into the channel or the podcast frequently and you've thought about, or if you feel called to work together one-on-one and to get some individualized support from myself, I would love to hold space for you. I will leave, again, everything linked below. I also have a number of different courses on a number of different things. So if you enjoy this channel and you want to work together further, there are many different ways that we can do so. Again, I will leave all of that linked below. As I'm saying this, the sun is kind of peeking out outside. So anywho, let's do some breath work. Then we'll talk about the cards. Then we'll channel and just kind of see what wants to come up. So sit up nice and tall, placing your feet flat on the floor. If you're sitting in a chair, you could also sit in a cross-legged position. Rub your palms together just to generate some new positive, high vibrational energy. And then when you're ready, bring your palms to your heart center in prayer. We're gonna take 3 big deep breaths together. So go ahead and inhale through your nose. Breathing down into your belly, hold at the top for a moment. And exhale, release. 2 more, just like that. Big breath in. Hold. And exhale. Last one, biggest breath you've taken all day. Go ahead and inhale. Holding at the top. Exhale, release. And release anything that you need to let go of. Anything that you've been carrying around that's no longer serving you. Just let it go. Dear universe, angels, guides, higher self, angels, guides of myself, and everyone tuning into this video or this podcast, please just help me to be a clear and open channel for anything and everything that wants to flow through today. And please just channel through me anything that's going to serve those who need the message today. Let's take one more big deep breath in. Exhale, release. And when you're ready, gently open up your eyes, shake out some loose energy, some energy that feels like it needs to be released. I'm just gonna turn my ring light down a little bit. Hold on. Oh, that's the wrong way. There we go. Okay. So, like I said, I have two beautiful cards that I'm excited to share with you. I really love also setting the energy, grounding before we get into videos and episodes. So this may be a practice that I do quite often on every single episode of the rubbing your palms together, deep breaths, asking to receive the guidance, because again, I've just been feeling it so deeply in my own just like existence, and I have goosebumps as I'm saying this, that like my job right now and what I feel like is my soul's mission in this lifetime is to purely receive divine guidance and share that with the world, and allow that to be a healing presence in your life. So that's my intention with everything that I put out. And yeah, it feels really beautiful to be moving through my business and through my life this way. So without further ado, before I keep rambling, the first card that I pulled was the Star Bathing card. So I will show you guys the card as I read from the little booklet that comes with the deck. If you guys have any suggestions for like oracle card decks that you enjoy, I would love to hear it. Put it in the comments, or if you're listening to the podcast, shoot me a DM over on Instagram. Because I'm looking for a new one. I haven't ordered a new one yet. I've had this one for a few years and I'm ready for a new one. So please share your recommendations if you have them. But anywho, card number one. Okay, Star Bathing, light body, crystal grid, transmission, activation. The stars are constantly showering emanations onto the crystalline grid of the earth. When things are in balance, the planet also sends information back up to the stars. Many starseeds have come to earth at this time to help shift the planet vibrationally, to activate the ancient codes of wisdom that humanity has forgotten, and all of that information is stored in the crystalline grid. If you pull this card, you may be being called to begin working with the stars in the crystalline grid of the earth. So some people believe that the crystalline grid of the earth anchors divine cosmic frequencies onto the planet. You may be guided to journey to particular places on earth to unlock these cosmic codes with your presence. You may also be interested in a practice called Star Bathing, and if you go to www.starseedoracle.me, there's a Star Bathing meditation that you can download on there. This card commonly arises because you're here to connect with the crystalline grid of the earth, either in your hometown or by traveling to other places without quite knowing why. It can also mean that your light body, the energy body in its highest form, is being activated. If this resonates, take things extra slow in order to integrate the change of vibration. So let's all take a big deep breath in, soaking up the energies of this card, and release. Beautiful. So I think mainly the things that I'm kind of receiving with this is, if you are feeling called, like this, like the book says, if you're feeling called to a specific place in the world, for me lately, that's been like Hawaii, Florida, Arizona. Those have been like my places that I've been feeling drawn to. Trust those. And I often too notice that like when I travel to places that are, again, that my soul feels drawn to, I receive so many downloads while I'm there. It's like a spiritual experience within itself. I usually get a lot of those downloads like journaling on the plane. or like while I'm meditating, while I'm actually in that location. So just know that, like, yes, I know, like, a lot of people, like my family is always like, oh my God, like, you know, you travel so much, or my boyfriend's like, you always want to go on a trip, but it's so much deeper for me than just going to a new place. Because oftentimes, like, Florida or like even the Carolinas, like, the beach for me is just such a magnetic place for my energy. Like, it really helps me to recharge. So just know that if you're feeling drawn to a specific location, that's beautiful. And the other thing too that I was also thinking and feeling into with this is, if you're feeling drawn to like a healing studio around you, whether that's like a Reiki practitioner or even like a massage therapist, or going to yoga, or doing a group breathwork class, or something that is healing energetically, like, again, for me, stepping into one of our most local yoga studios near me, it's like the first moment that I stepped into that building, it was like, I just felt like I was home. I felt seen. I felt energetically just like so nurtured. So I feel like this is also a reminder for me to start really doing the things that make me feel that sense of peace and that sense of, I don't even want to say belonging, but it's that activation energy. So if you are feeling drawn to a place that feels like it has that activation energy within it, just know that it's going to be so healing, and I really encourage you to go there as soon as you can. So comment below too and let me know, like, what are those places for you? Like, where do you feel the most activated? Where do you feel like your energy is the most recharged? You know, again, like, is it traveling somewhere? Is it, you know, going to a certain studio or a certain wellness practitioner or energy healer? Like, and I really encourage you to do those things often, because it's so, you know, we talk so much about physical health and mental health and emotional health even, but we don't really talk about the spiritual side of it too. And it's very important for us to also take care of the spiritual aspects of ourselves too. So that's your message if anybody needs to hear it. And then the second card that I pulled is the Fall Into My Arms card, which is all about surrendering, which I was like, it's just so fitting. So again, I'm going to read from the book while I show you the card. So all these cards are so beautiful too, but okay, fall into my arms, surrender, holding the opposites, extremes of life. The Great Mother ushered you in when you took your first breath, and she'll be here, and she'll be there when you draw your last. She knows how challenging life can be, that being human can be lonely and confusing, that the polarity and separation can be excruciating when your soul remembers the oneness of Source. But at the same time, it can be incredibly glorious and sweet. So often we see things as either good or bad. When things go well, we make it mean that we're being rewarded, and when things are bad, then perhaps we've done something wrong. However, we're all here to expand and grow, and it's through the extremes of life that we do exactly that. You're being invited to welcome the highs and the lows of the human experience, to let them initiate you more fully into life, the agony and the ecstasy, the beauty and the bitterness. This life is but a single breath in the inextinguishable existence of your experience as a soul. The Great Mother wants you to hand over your loneliness, worries, hurt, sorrow, fears, burdens, and doubts, to lay them on her altar, to fall fully into her arms, to remember that while these extremes are difficult, they can also be magnificent. The more wildly the pendulum of your life swings, the more truthfully you can say, I've truly lived. So again, big deep breath. There's a lot of energy with this one. Exhale, release. So I think too, just other things that I want to add from this specific card is, and I know I spoke about this on the last episode, and I also just did a live about this on Instagram, but I shared with you guys kind of the experience that I've had with business lately, where I was finding myself in this very mental energy driven space of navigating my business. So like doing things because that's what other people were doing, or doing things because that's what I thought I was supposed to be doing. And almost like just following in the footsteps, like copying, pasting what other people were doing. Like obviously not the content itself, but like, I don't know, kind of like the roadmap, because when you see somebody who's successful or somebody who you're like, oh, I want to have a business like theirs, it's really easy to just be like, to learn everything you can from them about what they've done. But all of our souls have such a unique blueprint that it's like, our intuition has to be our number one guide. And I just keep going back to saying that, like, it's like that message just wants to flow through so much lately. But it really was like, I had to hit this point of like, things feeling like nothing was working with business, for me to surrender. So I think, oftentimes those times in life that aren't going well, and I was actually just listening to, one of Gabby Bernstein's podcast episodes, and she was speaking on this, but it's really using those times that are a little bit darker, that are a little bit, like when things don't feel like they're working, when you feel like things, like everything around you is just like going wrong, basically, that's the time most when we need to surrender, and when we need to just like let whatever's going to happen. Because I think when we micromanage everything, it's like we are taking the power. We're not tuning into the power of the universe, because we think that we know everything and we think that we know what's best for us. But when we can truly surrender to something higher than ourselves, it's like, I just feel like I'm always so amazed by the things that happen and by how easily things flow. And then when I look back, I'm like, see, like I had to go through that, right? Like that's how, I don't know. It's like the universal divine lessons that we move through, So I think that's the main thing that I want to say is, if you're currently going through a difficult time, or if you're in a space right now in life where I definitely am moving, like I'm definitely still feel like I'm moving through with this energy of micromanaging, I really just invite you to take a deep breath, and I invite you to, if it makes you feel better, use practices like channeling, where you're sitting and you're meditating. Just put on some meditation music, close your eyes, take some deep breaths like we did at the beginning of this episode, and really tune into either connecting with the universe or God or your higher self or your intuition or whatever you feel called to. And, not only asking for guidance, asking for the messages that are meant to come through. I love using oracle cards to do that, but also, asking how you can be of service, asking, if you're in business, asking how, asking what message you're meant to share today, or what your ideal soulmate client needs to hear today, or asking what they would have you do today, or if you're feeling lost in life, or if you're feeling lost in any experience right now, rather than going full blown into like Google searching and YouTube searching all the answers that you feel like you're looking for, like I was. I want you to really switch your focus from looking outside of yourself, and instead remember that all of the answers are within you already. It just takes that conscious effort of asking, and it really can be that simple of just like putting on meditation, calming music that's going to lift your spirits, and help you connect deeper, and just asking those questions that you're searching outside of yourself, right? Like for example, I did my own channeling this morning, and I actually have my journal in front of me right here, but the message for me that came up today was like, to simplify, to trust, and when in doubt, asking my intuition. And I also wrote down like to take the pressure off, and that there's no need to micromanage. And also to like, guidance is available for us in every single moment. So if you're going through something, or if you're like, I just don't know the answer to this, and instead of your gut instinct being to go and search for it online, or search for it from somebody else, or ask somebody else for their advice, or what have you, tune into that inner voice, your intuition, and ask that voice inside of you, that place inside of you, these questions, and allow yourself to move through life in that way, where you are truly living in alignment with your soul and with the deep, like, and the other. So I can go on a whole rant about this, and again, this is where the channeling starts to come through. all of our souls have such a beautiful, unique blueprint that was created before we were even born, that it's so important for us to remember that like we are whole and complete on our own. We know what's best for us. It's just that effort of switching where you're focusing your energy. So instead of focusing your energy on everybody else and what works for everybody else, go inward. Like I promise you, it will help alleviate any anxiety or any stress that you're having when you can trust yourself and learn how to connect with that higher version of you and that with your intuition, right? But what I was going to say on this was when I was asking like, you know, dear universe, like what would you have me do today? Literally the message that came through was like, go to the library and pick out a book that speaks to you, and give yourself time in your days to read and to indulge in these messages. And it wasn't like, oh, I'm just like going to go pick out a book that like sounds good or that I saw somebody post on social media and I haven't went yet. That's actually on my to-do list to do for the rest of the day. But it's like this deep like knowing of like whatever book, like I'm going to know what book I meant to pick out, but also whatever that book is has a message that I need to hear right now. So maybe, you know, when you tune into your intuition, you're not receiving the exact message, but you'll be directed to resources that can provide you with that message better than maybe your intuition could in that moment. So it's just so important to follow and to listen. So I hope that this was helpful. I hope that this was healing. And really my intention moving forward is, and I have full body goosebumps because I feel like this is just like, so this is like my truth. I truly feel like my life's purpose or soul's purpose is to be this channel and to really just have like, to be able to bring through these messages that come through for me through my own intuition from the universe, but also just allowing myself, like just being able to hold space for people and to provide a healing environment. That is what, like if I could say it in words, that's exactly how I would describe it. And that's exactly how it feels. So yeah, so just know that. And again, if you're seeking more healing, if you're seeking, if you want to be really immersed in these channeled energies, this divine wisdom, and you're feeling the pull, and you know, come and join us. Come and join me in my one-on-one coaching. Come and join me in the membership. Come and join me on in this retreat in January. Come check out my courses. Because I can just feel that there is so much more ahead of this. Like, I'm very excited to go along this journey with you guys and to fully open myself up to be guided and to be led and to share these messages, because I think for so long I was so freaked out about like sharing my ability to channel or sharing my ability to receive the divine guidance. And even now, like I just was recording an Instagram live before I recorded this, and my boyfriend, who is very close to me, obviously the closest person in my life to me, hopped on, and it's like I feel like I need to hide this part of myself from the people in my life. And it's like, again, it's another life lesson that like I am whole and complete on my own, and the people around me love me for who I am. So it's safe for me to show up and share fully and to express fully. So I'm just excited to see how that's reflected back into my work. So that's really all I have for you guys. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them below. If you have anything that you're needing advice or guidance around that you'd like me to make a video or an episode about, leave it in the comments. And be sure you're subscribed. If you're on the podcast, I'd love if you gave the podcast a rating and a review. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you're on YouTube, I would love if you gave this video a thumbs up, and if you let us know in the comments what your biggest takeaways were. So, all right, my loves, I'm sending you guys so much love, so much healing, so much just good energy. And I just want to remind you that you are guided. You have all of the answers that you could possibly seek inside of yourself right now. And it's safe for you to follow those things. Okay. And things are going to turn out so much more magical than you could ever fucking imagine. So that's the message. Okay. I love you guys. I'll see you guys next week.